Well-rotted horse manure. What is it? What does it look like? And how do you use it on your garden? You might be thinking to yourself, he's not going to do a video on horse manure, is he? Everyone knows what horse manure is. Well, maybe, maybe not, but not everyone knows what well-rotted horse manure is, and that's the important thing for us gardeners. Especially if you're going down the no-dig route, as we decided to do, you're going to need a fairly constant supply of compost, and one such way of obtaining compost is well-rotted horse manure. And when we first started out, we didn't know the difference between horse manure and well-rotted horse manure, so we're going to explore that in this video, take some back to the allotment and spread it on the beds. So what is well-rotted horse manure? Well, first of all, what is manure? Manure isn't just the horse poo. That importantly, it contains the bedding, which is most of the time straw, but can also be wood chip. So if you can imagine the horse in its stables, the stable worker every day or every couple of days will clear out the contents of the stable floor, that's the straw, and the wee and the poo that the horse has done in the stable. That all gets put into a wheelbarrow and then has to be dumped somewhere. Where does it get dumped? Usually into an adjacent field, such as where we are right now. That happens every day or every couple of days. What happens to all this manure? It just gets piled on top of each other, and then a new pile is started. So nothing's rotted down yet. It smells actually as well quite strongly, and that's because it's high in ammonia, and it's also high in nitrogen as well. Now, if we're making compost, we do want nitrogen. It's one of the main ingredients, chemicals of compost, along with carbon. But it's too high at the moment, and if we plant straight into it, it's going to damage the plants. So this is no good to us at the moment. Now, if we leave this fresh stuff for a few months, let's say 4, 5, 6 months, it's going to start to rot down, and it's composting basically. Now then, I was speaking to one of the girls that works here, one of the stable workers, and she was telling me that they've been dumping manure here, her and her predecessors, for over 30 years. So they've actually got a digger, a front loader digger machine thing, and what they do once in a while is they get the digger and they scoop up all the manure that you can see on the ground, all these individual piles, and they put it on top of this pile that's behind me. So everything you can see here, this hill that I'm standing in front of, is all horse manure. The stuff on the top you can see is fresh-ish, but the stuff on the bottom should be 30 years old-ish if we dig down right into the back. Now, I don't think we can get that far in with the fork today, but if we have a dig around sort of round about here, I think we're going to find well-rotted horse manure that's years old. So let's have a dig around and see what we can find. I'm going to try and stand at the back so I don't cover it up on camera. Oh, there's lots of other things in here, like rocks and bricks. Lots of weeds too. If we were to come here over summer, this entire mound would be green. You can still see some weeds growing in it now, and it will do because it's growing organic matter at the end of the day. Horses do eat weed seeds as well. They eat grass and weeds and weed seeds. So that's going to come out in their poo, and it's going to be in the manure. So when we spread it on our beds, it is common to have weeds growing up out of the manure. They're only small though. You can just get a rake when you see them pop up and rake them off. It's no big deal. These things here are the roots of bindweed. It looks like to me it's all dying off. Well, it's all dead, a long time dead. But they're bindweed roots. So we're not going to collect them. That's the slate I just hit. So this here now is well rotted. We can't make out any straw, any poo, nothing. It just looks like soil. It doesn't smell of anything at all. So next step, we're going to fill up this crate, and just off camera we've got the van with a builder's bag. So we're going to fill the builder's bag with the manure, the well rotted horse manure. We're going to take that back to the allotment and use it to spread on one of our beds. So we'll catch up with you then. Whew. Oh, I know some of you guys have manure delivered to your allotment, and I have to say I'm pretty envious of you. For us, that's about an hour and a half round trip, leaving our house, driving to the allotment, picking up the bag, the fork, the crate, driving to the farm, loading the manure, driving back here, and then unloading it as we've just done. It's about an hour and a half. But I was looking at, if you're from the UK, you'll know a business called B&Q. They're a DIY garden centre, national chain. A bag of manure like this, £170. That's $240. This is crazy. Are people paying this? So I'm quite happy to put the hour and a half graft in. On the way back, we went to another place, a stables, and the lady there who runs the stables, she bags up the manure, and that's what's in this bag here. It's fresh though, so whilst it's more convenient for us to go and pick up these bags rather than take our own bags and fork and shovel it all in, it took about 5 minutes to collect a couple of bags. It is fresh, so she bags it up fresh, and it goes quite quickly as well. There's a little donation box, and you basically just take the bag and put some money in the donation box. I'm just going to empty this out into this wheelbarrow here. I have to be careful not to catch the microphone. Been watching these videos back, and I've noticed I'm catching the microphone. It makes a horrible muffly sound, so I do apologise for that. So this stuff is no good. Look at that. This stuff's no good to put on the beds right now. I mean, you can literally still see the lumps of poo inside. You can literally break it up. There's still hay inside. But one option is to put it on the compost bay and let it rot down 6 months, a year and a half. We could have a separate compost bay altogether just for that manure. So make another compost bay and just keep collecting these bags over the months and pour them into the compost bay and just let it rot down here rather than collecting well rotted manure. I mean, you can see the difference between the stuff that we've just collected and and this from the other stables. This is also wood shavings as the bed rather than straw. What's the difference? Is there any preference? Let me know in the comments if you think there's any preference between wood shavings and straw. I can't see any difference myself. It all rots down at the end of the day. Finally, we've bought this from B&Q, and we bought this really just to show you what manure looks like when you buy it from a DIY or garden centre. It's not going to look like what you've collected, and this was what we originally thought when we first started our no dig gardens allotment. So if we look inside here, this is what we thought we would be getting. The colour's quite similar, to be honest, but it's almost like compost. It's got such a fine crumbly texture, and that's because it's been heated and cooled and processed and sieved. So if you're going to collect your own manure or have it delivered, don't expect it to look like it does in the shop. What you're collecting hasn't been processed. It's going to have lumps, it's going to have imperfections, and that's absolutely fine. This was, did I just mention this? This was £8, this one bag. So it's not cheap. I'm not saying this is bad stuff. It's probably really good, actually. Although I did have a quick look on the ingredients list, and there's nowhere in the list that it says it's horse manure or cow manure. So I think this will be a mixture of some manures along with other organic materials, maybe, to sort of give it volume. Again, I'm not saying it's bad. It's probably very nutritious for your garden. But so there are your three different options. Well rotted manure, barely rotted down at all. Fresh manure that you can rot down yourself or buy it from the garden centre, much more expensive option. So I think we're about ready now to spread this manure on this bed just here. And what we're going to do is, we've got these wooden slats. This is purely just to mark out the bed. What happens over time is that it's sometimes difficult to see where the bed ends and the path begins, path's wood chip. So we're just going to lay these out purely to mark out the bed. We've had a frost overnight, as you can see. It's midday and the sun hasn't got to our allotment. It doesn't really this time of the year. I've just had a look in next door's allotment though, and they've got no frost at all. So they're getting plenty of sun. So I'm just going to mark out this bed like so. In fact, I'm not going to put that wooden slat down that side. Just here are beetroots, and they may have to come up very soon. When we get a major frost, we're talking -5, they'll have to come up. But for now, they can stay. In this bed before, it looks empty, but there's actually garlic in this bed. Was it the second or third video we put out was how to sow garlic? This was in October. You can check that video out if you wish. We sowed the garlic in October when there were other crops in here at the time. There was beetroot, that's still here. There was a row of carrots, there was salad, and there were French beans here, and there were runner beans growing up a pole here. We've only recently cleared the runner beans. They were growing for seed. A couple of weeks ago we cleared that. So I think, can we actually see some garlic poking up? Here's one. Yeah, in years gone by they haven't poked up until February, but there's one or two poking up now, but that's fine. So the garlic was buried sort of that deep, and we're going to add a layer of mulch now on top. We could just get the wheelbarrow and sort of tip it over, but I'm that close to the bed. I'm just going to go ahead and apply the manure to the bed like this. So by the time we finish this, the garlic's going to be buried quite deep. Some of you may think that's too deep. I know a lot of you gardeners sow garlic quite shallow. It's just the way we do it, and it works for us. We get nice big bulbs. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. If you plant garlic shallower, I'm sure you'll get good bulbs too, but this is just the way we do it. So I wonder how much manure we're going to need to cover the entire bed. Hopefully not all of it, because I'd like to use some on another bed maybe. We have another bed around the corner that we grew potatoes in. Second earlies and main crop. It's got overwinter cabbages in now. And the summer we had this year was hot and dry. And we didn't water the potatoes once. And sometime in July or August, we put our finger in the soil to do a moisture test, and it was still really moist. So we didn't need to water in the end. And that's because of, I guess, the well-rotted horse manure. Very moisture retentive. Okay, let's just spread this about here. Try not to stand on any of the garlics. So horse manure has a lot of nutrition in it. Whoops. What are we looking for? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and the third one too. Can't remember the name of the third ingredient. All our allotments are no dig, so we do this one application every year on all the beds, not just well-rotted horse manure. We also make our own compost too. We've got 3 different ways of making compost. The main compost bay is just next to us. Just spread this about here. Oh, what's that? A bit of rubbish. So you can see that there are lumps in this bed, and that's absolutely fine. It's all going to get broken down over winter. Compare that to the bag from B&Q, which is very processed, very crumbly, very fine. I think we've got a good routine here, just throwing it on like this. Don't think I'm going to need the wheelbarrow. Perhaps a bit more over here. There were 1 or 2 small weeds that we could have pulled up, but just mulching it in this way is going to smother those weeds and sort of kill them off that way. I think we're about done, you know. Oh, a bit more around the edge that we've missed. This is looking pretty decent. I think some more around the other side. It's a beautiful day, but it is going to get very cold next week from what I hear. So these beetroots will have to come up, and then we can mulch the last sort of metre of the bed in the same way. Great, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm just going to smooth it over with a fork. If you ever do collect your own manure, the very first time we did it was at another farm altogether, and their manure had been constantly piled on top for decades. Well, same as what we have just been to today, but it was so compact. The manure was so compact. It was like chiseling off clay almost, and we could literally take to the van where the bag was massive lumps, just literally walk with massive lumps of manure. So if that happens to you, that's still good too. You just take your fork and you just mash it down, and it will break down over winter, and come summer you're going to have very crumbly compost. I think we can take these wooden edges off now. Put these to the side. We stopped using wooden edges a couple of years ago. We did have wooden edges on all of our beds, but just for reasons of slugs mainly, just to reduce the habitat of slugs, we decided to get rid of the wooden slats, and I just think it looks nicer as well. This actually here is a wood chip path that needs topping up. I think we're about done here. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing how we use well-rotted horse manure on our allotment. It's such a fantastic, hopefully free resource, and we hope you join us soon for the next video. Bye for now.